The government today launched the second round of public consultation on political reform amid opposition from pan-democratic lawmakers. They staged a walkout just as Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam was making the announcement at the Legislative Council. The two-month exercise deals with issues such as how the nominating committee would come up with chief executive candidates and the election of a winner under universal suffrage. The government launched the public consultation knowing full well the controversy sparked by the framework set by the National People's Congress Standing Committee for Hong Kong's constitutional reform.
As far as this constitutional and legal framework is concerned, there is no room for any concessions or compromises to be made, despite the legal framework that has been laid down by the National People's Congress Standing Committee. We truly believe that we still have the opportunity to devise a set of electoral arrangements which is fair, open, transparent and highly competitive.
The key items to be discussed include the composition and formation method of the nominating committee, the procedures for the committee to nominate CE candidates, and voting arrangements for selecting the CE through one person, one vote. The number of nominating committee members has been set at 1,200, with 300 members in each of the four sectors. What's up for discussion is whether adjustments can be made to the subsectors, such as broadening their electorate base and changing the composition of the 38 subsectors. CE hopefuls have to be endorsed by more than half of the nominating committee, which will field 2 to 3 official candidates. The consultation document asks if and how the nomination procedures should be divided into a stage of members' recommendation for CE hopefuls and a stage of committee nomination for fielding the final candidates. As for the one-person, one-vote election of the chief executive, the government offers several options, including a first-past-the-post system, a two-round voting system, and others such as the instant runoff system or the supplementary vote system. The document also suggests maintaining the existing requirement that the CE should not have any political affiliation. Through a statement, Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying urged all sectors of the community, including all lawmakers, to join hands to implement universal suffrage. He stressed the government will do its utmost to achieve a one-person, one-vote CE election in 2017. Pan-democratic lawmakers have called the second round of public consultation a waste of time and vowed to boycott it. But they were criticised by some pro-establishment legislators. Rani Samtani reports.
Just as Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam began speaking, pan-democratic lawmakers opened their yellow umbrellas and walked out of the LegCo chamber.
We walked out so as to manifest our regrets about the SAR government and the Central People's Government's failure to heed the very clear and unequivocal public demand for real choice, real democracy, and Hong Kong people being our own real bosses.
The Pan-Democrats had earlier vowed to boycott the second round of public consultation. They plan to veto any reform package that is based on the framework set by the NPC Standing Committee.
The people do not have a right to nominate the candidates, and only 2 or 3 handpicked by Beijing and its puppets will be allowed to stand for election. We will reject any proposal for election which will not give the Hong Kong voters a genuine choice.
The Pan-Democrats called the second round of consultation a waste of time and urged the government to submit its reform package to LegCo as soon as possible so that they could veto it. Some lawmakers who stayed in the meeting criticized the government for failing to explain what it will do if the Pan-Democrats vote down the final reform proposal.
We agree that this is a challenging task, and some believe that the task force is doing something that is impossible to achieve. We will press ahead with full effort.
The government's reform package needs the support of a 2/3 majority or 47 votes to be passed in LegCo. There are 43 pro-establishment legislators, so the government has to win the support of some pan-democratic lawmakers. Meanwhile, the pro-establishment camp has accused the pan-democrats of doing more harm than good.
If we walk away from what CES has just suggested, then we are wasting time.
There must be a dialogue between the government and the pro-democrats. But walking out from the chamber doesn't help anything. I think it's even making things worse.
In Beijing, chairman of a state-funded think tank Chen Duo'er said today the scope of discussion in the new round of public consultation is very big. He said the idea of a blank ballot option, which would effectively allow voters to veto CE candidates, can be included in the discussion. He added that while the second round consultation comes a little late, it may be a good thing, as many people are now reflecting on how to move forward in the wake of the Occupy protests. Ronnie Samtani, TVB News.